We introduced you to Josh Montgomery here a couple of years ago, and R2D2 was the true star. Josh was like his co-star. We'll explain in just a moment. He's back in the news again, and we'll tell you why coming up right after this.
The fleet of American-made stand-ons from Wright Manufacturing, built by landscapers for landscapers. Available now at Hometown Motors Incorporated, 818 Eastern Avenue, Chillicothe.
As we met this past spring,
Mm-hmm.
we were making masks and everything, but give us quickly an update on what you can there. And are you still using the 3D printer to do certain projects like that?
Yeah, mostly classroom stuff, but SOMAC, the Southern Ohio Makers Against COVID Coalition, we kind of wrapped up our mask productions months ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, when COVID first started and we started this process of making face shields for hospitals. We're probably going to do another 500 to 1,000. We've bought some supplies and materials, primarily just to get the stuff out of my computer lab, to be 100% honest with you. But we've had a lot of interest of people wanting to help and assist us with the mask production. So it was a great opportunity for us, for sure.
Well, during your days with Chillicothe City Schools, we struck up a relationship. And then, of course, when you came up with the project of building R2D2, that captured our eyes. We were gratefully given the opportunity to go with you to a seminar in Columbus. And a lot of folks who have watched our YouTube channel, you've seen some of those reports. But let's tell them what the latest is with you. You've done a TED Talk. This occurred late last fall when the news started getting out, and it's finally been released in production.
It is. I got a chance to do a TED Talk on the TEDxDayton stage. Something I've always wanted to do. I've applied to a couple TED Talks, and finally made it to the interview process. This would have been in I think it's about May timeframe of last year, which was great just to get a call to say, hey, we want to interview you, that kind of stuff. And I think that the stage said they had about 200 to 300 applicants, and I was one of the 50 people they were interviewing. It was they interviewed me on May 4th, which was Star Wars Day 2020. Now, I have to believe that wasn't a coincidence, right? So, but it was a Zoom interview, which was really kind of interesting. And there was 4 of us being interviewed at that piece at that time. And there was a big group of people at the TEDxDayton people that was seeing the interview. And they basically just said, hey, give us a part of what your talk would be, which TED's all about, giving a message to share. And I'd practiced, and I feel like I had it down, that kind of stuff. And I delivered, and I thought it went pretty well. And then the 3 other people went, and they were really good. So, so I was like, I'm not getting selected. I'm not going to be one of the top 12. That's just not happening. So, but in I think it was like about July, July timeframe, I got a call, and they said, you're one of the top guys. You'll be giving a TED Talk in November.
That's pretty cool. For those of you who have not seen the TED Talk, we've got the YouTube link right here in the description of this interview, so you'll be able to track that down and see it in its entirety. I think the selling point for you, first of all, just having R2D2 and the other models that you have built in part of that presentation is attractive enough, because I know the seminar that I was with you, their eyes were on the unit. It wasn't on Josh Montgomery, but you were explaining to them everything about what it was like to build this creature, and part of the passion and everything. But from the TED Talk that I have taken, I really like the aspect you've used with using it as a teaching tool. And not only that, but the critical thinking process and how you got your kids engaged in it, and what you've learned just from what your experience was like in building the R2D2 model.
That's where it all came from. I learned a lot from building our 2.5-year project, and it occurred to me that my students could do this. So what if I developed courses that gave us the opportunity to pick and select projects? It doesn't have to be a big robot, but it could be. And then how do I then assess them and drive that? And at the end of the day, it's all about the passion projects, right? It's all about something somebody wants to do, because these kind of projects, they're hard. And they take a lot of time, and there's a lot of failures, but you learn so much through the failure process, through the critical thinking processes that you develop through building something like this. And so I wanted to build a program, classes that allowed people to do something like that. And this TED Talk was basically talking about that process, and we just not just talking about it. We did that, and we do that now in my classroom.
And I got to believe that that way of thinking, that way of teaching turns out better students for, and especially in your end of things, corporations that are looking for those type of, your kids are going to stand out more so than others might.
And that's when I talk of, I mean, when we get in the weeds of things, and it's tough and it's hard, and you're spending a Saturday or a Friday evening, working on your projects, you're trying to hit a deadline. We talk about that. I'm like, imagine what your resume is going to look like when you put something like this on here. This is a selling point for you that's going to beyond just your degree. You just didn't need a degree in this with these certifications. You built this, or you did this. You built BB-8, or you built a supercomputer, or you made a farm robot. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what that is. That really shows employers the type of skill sets they get when they hire a person like that. So, I was talking to someone earlier today about my job. I feel is not only a teacher, but also kind of a coach and a cheerleader. I'm trying to get them excited about their projects and trying to find all the avenues to kind of get there at that point.
You talk at the beginning of your presentation about you've been a nerd all of your life.
Yeah.
And I know many of your friends, some of them are my family, and I know how nerdy you all were.
Yeah.
But here's why I'm bringing this up. Certainly you've got a passion for what you do, but there have to have been some mentors in your life that have steered you into this direction, to give you that vision, to be able to see that potential in your students that you have come through your classroom. And do you have those people that you've leaned upon over the years?
Oh man, we all have them, right? We all have those people that have kind of driven us to certain paths and certain places. My technology love wouldn't probably be there without Virginia Ferguson and Dennis Griffith, both some Southern State people. John Saxon was pinnacle to making me be a teacher. I wasn't something I loved at the beginning of the process, and I probably would have left if it wasn't for John. And he's like, "Oh, hold on, you need to stay the course here. This is a dream job for you." And I've been supported by so many people over the process. And one thing I absolutely love about my college is Dr. Nicole Rhodes is my vice president, 100% supports me. Anytime I have a crazy idea or something I want to build or something I want to do, they get me funding. They find ways to make that kind of stuff happen. And that's it feels great. I feel like a lot of times I'm just playing, like I get all this equipment to do different things, and I produce for them, I hope, and hopefully they're proud of what we do.
That keeps those creative juices going, no question.
Yeah, absolutely. And the students help me be excited. It's all about finding that passion. If they didn't have it for something that they love to do, then that takes it away from me as well. I don't want to have to push someone to do an assignment. I want them to be excited about building this or designing this or programming this, because I get my energy from that as well. And then, so when it's a Saturday and we got to work and they're excited about it, let's go make this happen.
Yeah. So you have the TED Talk. What has been the response from not only your colleagues, but maybe some people you never talked to before?
It's interesting where things go to. I've had a lot of people message me about the talk, and which is really cool. A lot of the builder clubs, the R2D2 Builders Club, the BB-8 Builders Club, and so forth, says some very nice things and sent it to a lot of people, which is really, really cool. And I don't know where any of that kind of stuff goes. I hope other people get excited or passionate or supported by doing a project like this and do more of this in an educational environment. For me, it's Star Wars. Obviously I'm a huge fan, and R2's led me to do different things. And I would have known building that robot in my basement 5 years ago would have led to something like that. Who knows where that'll go to? I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah. Well, you may consider yourself a nerd, but you've got enough functionality about you and personality that you're a functioning nerd in my department.
Yeah, a functioning nerd, Dad. I like it. I'll take that. Functioning nerd.
Right. Well, Josh, thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for making time to help us follow up with you. And I'm looking forward to your next project. Do you have something in the works right now that you are allowed to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, we have I'd say about a handful. There's 8 or 9 projects we're working on in the lab right now, and we have a whole new group of students that I don't even know what the project's going to be yet. They're starting to develop them, and they have a rubric for me of what they're developing and designing. One project I could tell you that we'll be demonstrating and showing here in the next week or 2 weeks is a $40,000 Raspberry Pi supercomputer that is composed of 310 small little computers in an array that is 6 foot by 4 foot. Wait till you see this crazy thing we've developed. It's taken us about 2 years to build it. Mr. Lewis, Brian Lewis over at Chillicothe Schools, his son Seth and Chad Park, another student of mine who graduated, are two of the big people in it. But there's probably been 40 students that's worked on this, and we're really close to showing it off. We're really proud of what we've built with it. So our next big thing will be showing off here soon.
Yeah, when you complete it, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely, we'll do.
Take a look. So, Josh Montgomery, thanks again for your time today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.